everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make 2 cards using the mini envelope thin cut, and they are slimline cards. So I'm going to use the diagonal slimline thin cut for one of them. I'm also going to use the month of the year February stamp, seasonal borders, and sending well wishes, and also the wood grain embossing folder. So I'm going to use papers from Mix-Ins and from Sweet Safari, and then some of the ballerina glitter paper. So let's get started. I'm going to cut out a whole bunch of these mini envelopes. This one is with the Mix-In paper, and it's the same process for all of them. So I'll move ahead and show you how I did the slimline. So I've mounted the glitter paper onto double-sided tape before I run it through, so that I'm basically creating a giant sticker. And so I'm going to run this through, and because the slimline die is bigger than my cutting plate, I have to do it in a 2-step process. So this is the first part. I'm going to run it through, and it's very thick, and you have to go back and forth several times because you're cutting through a bunch of layers. So just go back and forth, and then carefully slide it up, and so that the rest of it is on the cutting plate, and then cut the rest of it. So having that double-sided, or not the double-sided, but the low-tack purple tape, it really helps a lot to keep your die in place so it doesn't shift, and then it will cut cleanly for the entire size. So I'm just gonna poke all the bits out and get my big shot out of the way, and we'll go ahead and move on to some stamping. Okay, so I've loaded everything onto my blocks. I've just picked out a variety of stamps from the sets that I mentioned, and I'm going to start out with my sentiment, and this is going to be a Valentine card. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to stamp in raspberry or black, so I stamped both, and then you'll see later on I changed my mind again. So but I've just loaded the sentiment onto the block, and I'm stamping that out, and then I'm going to stamp this little envelope with the heart. And these little bits, I'm going to fussy cut them, and they will go inside of the mini envelopes. I have my little cupcake, and I'll be coloring that in with the tri-blend markers in a minute. And then I'm going to do a combination of these 2 stamps, Hey Sugar and then that little heart. So I'm going to use Flamingo to stamp that little heart. And then I'll just cut that out into a square, kind of rectangular shape. Just freehand cut it. Okay, so I'm going to take my tri-blends, and I'm going to speed this up super quick. And it's just a basic color job. I'm not doing any shading. I'm just laying down color, just in a bunch of variety of pinks and reds. Okay, and then I've fussy cut everything. So now I have everything all cut out and ready to go. And I'm using these slimline card bases. They're in the new catalog. I'm sure this will be added to our regular stock so that you'll be able to get them past the catalog time. And you get them 20 to a package along with envelopes. So they're at 3.5 by 8.5. So I'm laying that overlay onto the front of my card. And like I said, it was just a big giant sticker after you do the double-sided tape. And then I'm folding these little envelopes. When you thin cut them, they have embossed lines to fold the envelope, so they're super easy to fold up. And then I'm just going to add a little glue to keep them all together. But first I'm going to lay everything out on my card front just to see what it all looks like. And then I'll add some glue. So just a couple dots, because I want this to be a real envelope so that I can put those fussy cut things in each of the envelopes. Okay, so this is where I decided that I wanted to change my sentiment, and I stamped it out on ballerina paper instead and flagged it out on one end. So now I'm going to lay everything out, and I'm just using the measurements on my Versamat to kind of figure out where the center is. And that one I'm going to put the hay sugar in it and kind of try to keep that one closed. And then the other two envelopes will be open. I'm just putting everything down with Tombow tape. I'll place those other two envelopes on my card front. And then slide the little fussy cut items in. And then I'm using some thin foam tape to pop my sentiment. I'll place that down in the center there. Okay. All right. And then I have some temporary adhesive to kind of get that center envelope to shut just a little bit. And that's the finished card. And here are some close-up shots. I think it turned out cute. Okay, now we'll make another one. Now this one I'm going to do vertically instead of landscape. So I've cut out a whole bunch of envelopes using rainbow colors of cardstock, and I'm going to stamp some sentiment. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to be able to fit on my card front, so I'm going to stamp both of these out. And this is from the Sending Well Wishes stamp set. So I stamped out Hello My Friend, and this is black on white daisy cardstock. And then this one is the one that I really want to use, and it says, I hope this brightens your day. So we'll see. And then I trimmed those down, and I flagged out one of the ends by doing the dovetail cut. Okay, so I'm going to bring my Big Shot in, and I'm going to emboss a piece of white daisy cardstock. So I've cut this at 3.5 by 8.5, which is the same size as my card base. And I'll show you how to, because the length is longer than the embossing folder. So I'll show you how to do this. So you run part of it through, and I realized that I was on the wrong tab on my platform there, so I fixed that. So you run part of it through. So you emboss about half of it, and then there's a slit in the top of the embossing folder. So you just slide your cardstock through and then place it where you want it, and then you run the rest of it through. So you can do all different kinds of lengths on all of your embossed pieces. You can do like a scrapbook page at 12 inches or whatever length you want. You can just keep sliding it in and keep embossing. So kind of cool. All of the embossing folders that Close to My Heart makes has that. They have that slit at the joint there. So I'm going to place this on my card front using score tape because it's super sticky, and once you emboss the paper, it's a little tricky as far as adhesive goes. So score tape just makes things easier. And then I'm going to fold all my little envelopes and glue them. So just a couple drops. Now these are going to be like closed envelopes on the front of my card, except for one of them. So you'll see that in a second. So I'm just laying things out. I'm not exactly sure what's going to fit, and I want to do it in the Roy Begive rainbow order. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and purple or violet. so I'm just kind of playing around with the placement of everything, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and I'm just attaching everything with Tombow. And so we'll place all these down on the card front. Colorful and playful and bright. Kind of cute, I think. So put all those down. So like I said, 6 of the envelopes are closed, and then that last violet one is open, and I have die cut a heart using the scarlet glitter paper to place in that last envelope. So here's some close-up shots of that card. I like the way this one turned out. So all of these supplies are currently available in my online store. I will make a list with links in the description below. And I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And thanks for watching.